I'm going to cover. My purpose is not to change your religion. My purpose is not to make you believe everything that I say. On the contrary, I'm the only one in the world that will tell you, listen to everyone, read everything, believe absolutely nobody, including me.
Welcome to 2012 Mayan Predictions, supported by Bible Prophecy Part 1. The Mayan calendar, which represents the New Age according to the Mayan civilization centuries ago, was a calendar that understood that every 25,250 years a new age will begin. The Mayans, in their anticipation of their study of the stars, realized that on December 21st, 2012, the winter solstice will occur, and that would be the date of the 25,250 year end, which they call the beginning of a new age. The Mayan civilization were in parts of South America and Central America and Mexico from the 4th to the 9th centuries. They were a very prolific culture. And in their culture, they understood the time, the calendars, the universe, the stars. They had pyramids. They left behind many hieroglyphs and many writings that are now understood by those who understand the culture. So, What does the 2012 prediction mean? It means that on that date, December 21st, that the planets will align in a special way that they do not do except for every 25,000 plus years. Saturn, Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, and the Earth are all in a straight alignment with the Sun. You can imagine the electromagnetic pressure that is going to be placed upon the Earth with this alignment. There's another book that is very important to this discussion, the Holy Bible. The Bible talks about a time of tribulation, which this may very well be that time. How do we know? In Matthew 24, Jesus was asked the question by his disciples, what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? Notice that he's not asked what is going to be the end of the world, but rather the end of the age, similar to what the Mayans are answering. So in verses 6 through 9, Jesus gave a detailed answer. You will be hearing of wars and rumors of wars, but that is not yet the end. For nation will rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and in various places there will be famines and earthquakes. But all these things are merely the beginning of birth pangs. They will deliver you to tribulation. Notice that Jesus compares this time to a woman having birth, which is a very painful experience, and he calls it the time of tribulation. There's something else Jesus makes very clear. It is not yet the end. Back to the Mayans. They saw time in 5 dimensions. And the 5th cycle of those 5 dimensions represents the time period from 3113 BC to our modern time, commencing at 2012 AD. The 5th cycle is called by the Mayans the night before the dawn. It just so happens that a music group in 1969 sang a song relative to this time dimension. The name of the group, The 5th Dimension. The song, The Aquarius. When the moon is in the 7th house and Jupiter aligns with Mars, then peace will guide the planets and love will steer the stars. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Let the sun shine in. Of course, that is what occurs when you have the dawn after the night. An interesting illustration of the Mayan understanding of dimensions has to do with this hieroglyph, which is in a circle. And notice that there are dots, and the dots correspond to each other. The star drawn within the center of the circle is not a part of the glyph, but if you follow the dots, they actually form the 5-pointed star. So you go from 1 dot to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, which is what we learned how to do in elementary school. Draw a 5-pointed star exactly in that pattern. Well, this pattern represents the pattern of Venus in its cycle, as it makes its cycle around the sun. And in that cycle, if you were on Earth looking at Venus, it would actually come closest to the Earth at each of these points in the 8-year cycle. 5 points within 8 years. Pretty amazing. Not only that, overall, the Mayans understood that this 5th dimension represents an age of time, a dimension of space, a planet with 5 cycles over an 8-year period, and a group that even sings about it. Well, as you look at the actual 8-year cycle of Venus around the sun with Earth in the telescope, you can see the 5-pointed star as it's making its cycle. But maybe what you didn't notice is that Venus is actually upside down in its orbit. The apex of the star is not at the top, it is at the bottom, which means that Venus is inverted in its orbit. So Venus represents a pentagram. The planet Venus has an inverted 5-pointed star cycle around the sun, which takes 8 years. The inverted star is the symbol for the pentagram. The pentagram represents the goat of Mendes, who is known as Baphomet. who by another name is the devil, Lucifer. So how do we know that the pentagram is resembling Venus's orbit? Well, when you look at the symbol for the pentagram, you see the 5-pointed star that is inverted in the same dimension as Venus' orbit. Also, when you see an image of Baphomet, the devil, that has existed since the 1600s, you see in this image the goat, the horns, the moon, fire on the top, and on his forehead a 5-pointed star. For sure, the orbit of Venus represents the activity of Baphomet.
That system is our enemy. But when you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it.